Hello, everybody. So, how's everybody doing tonight? I am doing fantastic. I am here once again with another Wheel of Doom, and I just am happy to be here. You know, Thursday nights, I'm really liking this as far as a just kind of a fun way to look forward to the weekend. I've got Friday tomorrow. Like, Fridays are Fridays. Fridays are awesome. So this is a good way to start. But how's everybody doing out there? How's everybody drinking out there? How many of you have samples out there for me to select from? I will start with Steve because I know that Steve has 40 samples sitting in front of him, which is almost as many as I have on the wheel here. And so let's see, Steve. I'm going to pick... I'd like the idea of starting every Wheel of Doom just picking what Steve's going to drink rather than myself. So I'm interested... I'd like to know, Steve, I'm going to give you a number, but I'd like to know, how do you have them ordered? Like, do you just have them lined up? Do you have them numbered? Do you have a print off? I don't know. I'm curious. I'm going to pick let's pick number 40. That sounds exciting. And while I'm picking number 40 for you, does anybody else out there have a number of samples that you'd like me to pick a number from? If, let's say that you have less than 5, I'd like to... Yeah, you are a fixture. You're a fixture of every whiskey tuber there, Steve. You're awesome. All right, so if you've got samples out there, let's say you have 3 samples. I'd like you to pick let's go number 3. In fact, anybody out there who has samples, I want you to pick the last number that you have. So if you have 4 samples, pick number 4. If you have 20 samples, pick number 20. 20. I can do math. He's got 4 lines of 10 sample bottles. That makes sense. All right. I'm going to pick something right away this time because I'd like to get into it. Now, I have a couple of different things I'm going to do this time. Number 1, just because I think it'd be kind of fun. So I still have several of these 3 Chord bottles left. For anybody who doesn't know, I did a single barrel pick with 3 Chord, and it's absolutely spectacular. I love this whiskey. I unfortunately have like probably 20 bottles left, though. There were some issues with shipping where basically... let's just say the distribution wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be when I signed up to do a single barrel. So I ended up having a bunch of my own. So we'll do the typical whiskey tuber thing. $5 super chat gets you entered into a drawing at the end of the stream to win this bottle, and I'll ship it right off to you. I get rave reviews about this 3 Chord. I do see John, you commenting in there. Obviously I picked it, so obviously I like it, but the community at large seems to really, really like this whiskey as well. All right, let me pick something for fun. Let's go Wheel of Doom. I'm going to transition over here. And this week I kept my audio on, so we'll actually be able to hear me. Let's go ahead and pick something. All right, what do we have? All right, so this one comes from Clifton. Let's transition back over here. Hey, pinch hitter, thank you. Yeah, actually, that'd be great if you could do that, pinch hitter. If you want to track entries, that'd be great, and I'll just kind of give you I'll give you a thing, like a number at the end. No, I think we're good on mods at the moment, but if anything happens, just let me know. So this one's called a... Let me actually find this one, because I believe I got a image, despite the fact that this is from... I know you're all dying. I know what it is. I just want to put this up here because, whoops, I am on the wrong screen. That's interesting. I didn't know it was going to do that. Let's get rid of you. All right, whatever. It's Weller Foolproof, but it is a store pick Weller Foolproof from actually Clifton. He didn't pick this, but this is a place near him. I ended up being on one of his streams, and I forget what I did to win, but I ended up winning. So he sent me a few samples. So Weller Foolproof K&L pick. No Johnny Walker Red on the Wheel of Doom right now. However, you know, I've thought for years that it made sense to have that on there because it is the Wheel of Doom. You know what I'm gonna do? I think it's finally time. I'm gonna put 4 Johnny Walker Reds on this wheel for the next time that I do the Wheel of Doom because I think that makes it fun. I'm just actually gonna make a little note. 4 Johnny Walker Trash on wheel. Awesome. So next time that I do a Wheel of Doom, those will be on here, and they will... Maybe I'll make them slightly bigger so they get picked. Yeah, that's the Doom for sure. All right, so I'm also going to use the Whiskey Dictionary here to help me to identify some of the flavors in here. just because I think it's fun. The little radar graph at the bottom. Now, kind of picked a bad time, I guess, to promote this thing because I'm all out of them. But the little radar graph at the bottom, actually, I find is super helpful for me to try to pick out nosing and tasting notes. So, so Steve, you ended up with Erdrador, or what did you end up with? Johnny Walker Red isn't as bad as we all claim. You've had worse. Yes, there are worse whiskeys in the world. But that doesn't mean that Johnny Walker Red is anything decent. Like getting punched in the face isn't the worst place on your body to get punched. I still don't want it. Hey, Jason Mash and Drum, what's going on? For anybody who missed it, so Jason and I did a little thing on Dungeons and Drams this week, just him and me, and we did kind of like a solo thing where he was getting into the Thieves Guild within the Dungeons and Dragons game that we play. So if you're interested in that, check out Dungeons and Drams. You'll find a link to it somewhere on my page, or you just search for it. But all right, let's go ahead and I'm already giving this a nose. So this smells like Buffalo Trace. There is just no doubt whatsoever. They certainly have a very specific profile, and I often find it interesting. I wonder, maybe some of you guys have an opinion on this, and I'm only just now formulating it, so it's just a wicked obvious opinion. If they never had Pappy just go the way that it did, I don't know. Like Buffalo Trace, yes, their stuff is quality, it's fine. But I don't really know that it's that much better or even really on par with some of the other just larger names. Like it's thanks, Steve, appreciate that. So Steve gets a couple entries. Anyway, so I don't know that Buffalo Trace would be where it is right now. Certainly not this insanity that is trying to hunt these bottles. And I actually read an interesting, you know what, I got to shut up and take a sip, and then I will continue my chatting. All right, so Weller Full Proof. Believe it or not, I've never had this before. All right. So smelling it, yeah, it smells like Buffalo Trace. It's not really, doesn't really have anything overtly sticking out. If anything, it's just well blended, but I'd say if anything, it's just caramel and vanilla. Pretty standard bourbon, nothing crazy. Yeah, I'm looking at my little radar graph here to see if there's anything maybe a little toffee, but I don't know. All right, cheers everybody to the first drink of the night. If anybody out there is celebrating, put in the chat what you're celebrating tonight, and next cheers on you. All right, cheers. Yeah, I mean, hard to argue with that. That's just a tasty bourbon. It's nothing that I would go out of my way to find. And I know I have opinions about Weller, and it's tough not to have those make me a little biased. When I taste this, though, I'm like, all right, that's really good, but I don't think it's anything I would ever go hunt down. I just don't think it's anything very special. Hey, Jimmy, thank you very much. Awesome. Anyway, so Weller Full Proof, I mean, it's good. I'm going to enjoy drinking the rest of this. Speaking of enjoying the rest of this, and then I will get back to the other thought. So, since Jason potentially is still in the stream here, so I ended up, if you remember last week, I pulled the, I think Westland pick that him and the Whiskey Crusaders did. And I ended up taking up all my samples, the ones I didn't finish. I take them upstairs with me, and I usually sit down on the couch. Occasionally, I even rewatch this stream just to make sure everything kind of went okay. In this case, I happened to just be sitting there watching something on YouTube, probably an editing video or something. And I ended up drinking 4 of the 5 drinks that I ended up bringing upstairs. So I pretty much had, I don't know, what are these? These are 2 ounces, I think. So I think I want to say I had 9 ounces of whiskey before I went to bed. So my poor wife, she hears me snore on these live stream nights. Anyway, but I know I've said it last week. If any of you guys want to, and Jason, if you're there, feel free to link it in the chat. A link over to your barrel pick of the C20, C920, C910, something like that. I don't know. It had a weird name. Either way, very, very good. All right, let's have another sip of this. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so let's go back to this thought. So I read an article earlier today that was forget who put it out, but I know Steve ended up linking it in the Discord, and it had to do with this concept of hunting bourbons or hunting whiskeys and calling it hunting. And it was interesting because the author definitely, I think he was having a bit of frustration, and I loved everything he said. But I also kind of just get that it's coming from a place of probably frustration with the way that the whole industry has gone. But he was comparing it to like driving to the store or driving to like 3 or 4 stores is not equivalent to hunting. And I'm like, dude, you're being pedantic, right? But I kept reading, and he kind of just went on about how just idiotic this whole thing has gotten and how people are hunting down these bottles that aren't even really that good, just to turn a quick buck. And I kind of thought about this for a little bit, and I know I've made this analogy before. I'm going to make it again because why not? When the housing market crashed in 2008, I feel like we saw a ton of these groups of people across all different hobbies try to really push to make a quick dollar on things that are perceived as rare. Now, back in 2008, I was considerably more into video games than anything really, and I was starting to buy a whole bunch of stuff and like some older games, and I was collecting them, and they were starting to go up in price. Now, in like 2006, you could buy most NES games for like $3. When 2008 hit, all of a sudden you started seeing people on YouTube. You know, there's a channel called The Game Chasers, and I know not all of you guys are into video games, but I promise this has a point related to whiskey. But there's a channel called The Game Chasers. There was another one like The Game Hunters or something like that. And they all would go to the yard sales and they would go do this. And you saw the prices of everything start to gradually increase. Suddenly those $3 games were $5. Then they were $10. And then some of them were like $20. I'm like, dude, this thing wasn't $20 when it was new. So I didn't see most of this happen with whiskey until, I want to say, how long have I been doing this? Like 7 years. So right around the time that I started my channel, I think, is when things started getting a little stupid, but they started getting like real stupid probably about 5 years ago. And that's around when I think, maybe a little earlier, people started getting really aware of Pappy Van Winkle and the fact that these bottles were highly sought after. And oh my gosh, a 23-year-old bourbon is like amazing. It's not, but I don't know. The whole thing strikes me as very, very dumb, and I'm shocked that it's lasted as long as it has. And I think a big reason for that is the fact that people still are just trying to hustle and make a side gig. And I don't think until we see the economy improve that we're going to see any of this change, because people are always going to just be trying to make some extra money unless, you know, they're doing a little better financially. So anyway, that's just a thought. It's, again, kind of like a half-baked one, but I really liked the article that you linked, Steve. And if anybody's in the Discord, just check out the Whiskey News channel and see what you think. So something else that I've done tonight is I put a poll up at the top just because I was curious what you all thought. And the question, if you're maybe just watching on your TV or something, if you want to pop onto your cell phone and go take a look, is what sport, or even just let me know in the chat, what sport would be the funniest to add a mandatory amount of alcohol to? And the choices, I can only put 4 choices. So I put football, hockey, soccer, and baseball. Because I'm American. I put soccer in there for everybody who's not, or anybody who actually cares about soccer. So, excuse me, but I'm curious, what other sports would you guys think would be hilarious to add a little alcohol to? As I thought about it, I was like, you know, soccer actually would be just horrific, because if you're drunk and you're running that much, I think you're going to have a real bad time. Then again, maybe that's the thing that they start recruiting for. So Wayne says a lot of it is fear of missing out, and that's a good, interesting point. I would agree on some of the smaller or the lower bottles, like the Wellers or like the Blantons, or Elmer T. Lee. I haven't seen one of those in person in forever. But things like the Pappy, I mean, I see that more as like the status symbol kind of thing. Like, oh, I can afford to buy this, and now it's almost like playing on itself. To the point where, oh, well, this is like a $1,200 bourbon. You should have a sip of this. Come join me in my I don't know, my office with my leather books and mahogany. But yeah, no, I completely agree with the Weller stuff. Like if even me, like really, if I see a Weller on the shelf and I don't have it up here, I'm gonna buy it. But I also do a whiskey show where I should have stuff like that. I don't know that knowing what I know, if I were to stop the channel or something, I don't think I would pick up a Weller if I saw it because I just wouldn't care to. Anyway, so Steve says soccer, only way I'd watch it if either I or the players, preferably both, were getting progressively more and more drunk. You know, that kind of opens up another concept is, okay, so maybe you're running way too much and you're hammered and then you're just like puking all over the place, right? Like that's the horrific bit. But the funny part, if you're running that far and you're really drunk, like you're going to fall over randomly, and that actually could be really funny. I like that. And people are going to miss kicks. Soccer's kind of sticking out to me because I think if you had football and you were really drunk, I actually don't know that there'd be too much difference, although maybe running plays would start taking over instead of passing plays, because I just think too many people would miss. But baseball, I think baseball is something that you could absolutely play fine if you were drunk. Obviously, hitting those speeds are going to be tough, and I do think more batters are going to get hit by a wobbly pitch, but I'm not sure. So, and then hockey makes like a ton of sense to be drunk. And I would imagine that you'd probably have similar problem to soccer where you're just going to have people puking all over the place. But I think every other facet of hockey would actually fare pretty well. Now, obviously basketball is the other big sport that I couldn't put on here. And the more I thought about it, I was like, I don't really know that basketball gets much more interesting if people were drunk. You know, I mean, you're just going to miss a lot more throws or shots or whatever you want to call it. But I think I don't know. I don't think basketball would work. And that's why I left it off. Falling over on the ice, trying to balance on skates. Mickey Mantle made a career of playing drunk baseball. That's funny. I was actually just earlier today, I was listening to a podcast about what would happen if Babe Ruth were to come back kind of in his prime today and been given a chance at Major League Baseball. And, you know, pretty much the agreed upon thought was if he went into it with the skills he has today, he would get it absolutely obliterated. Like he wouldn't do well at all because he's just not used to it. You know, they only had a couple of fancy throws back then. You had knuckleball, spitball, fastball. Nowadays it's a little different, but it made an interesting thought experiment. So yeah, I know, Alexander, I'm sorry. I'm just chatting tonight. I'll polish this one off. Here's to you, Alexander. All right, cool. Let's go and grab our second one. Alexander's hurrying me. It's supposed to be chill. That's fine. For anybody who's joined, just real quick reminder. So I'm giving away a 3-cord bottle today. $5 super chat gets you an entry, and I'll send it over. Steve A is looking for another selection. So you had number 40. I missed what you said it was. That's true. I do have all the time I want because Clifton's not on tonight. All right, so let's go ahead and pick a whiskey. I don't know why I look away. It's not like I can even read half these things anyway. I always go for I'm going to go right in the center, or as close to the center as I can. Oh boy, that's a big one. That's what she said. All right. Boom. So let's get rid of this Weller. Well, let's put this guy up here. It's actually very close. Haha, Whistlepig 10. Small batch rye. Yep, 50%. All right. So we got a Whistlepig. There we go. This one's a big sample, so I'll pour half of this. So I've got a couple of cool things coming on the horizon. May as well talk about them. So first one is, and this is actually, I'm very excited about this. I was just, what number did I pick for you, Steve? Maybe I didn't actually pick one for you. Let's say 2 or 7. I was going to go 22, but let's go 7. Where did I get all these samples? So a lot of them came from Matt from the Whiskey Crusaders, but also just people send them in. If you have some whiskeys in your house that you're particularly excited about and you'd like to see on the Wheel of Doom here, send me an email at thewhiskeydick@gmail.com. You can find that down in the description below, and we'll talk. So Mad editing. Yeah, I've always liked doing the technology part of this. It's funny. I actually got into YouTube mostly because I was interested in YouTube. And then I started with whiskey because I looked around and I was like, I think I could make a pretty good channel about this. And then I got really obsessed, and now I have a studio in my basement and a rack of like 200 and something whiskeys behind me and all kinds of fun stuff. Ooh, Ben Riak. Nice. Yes, I agree. I think pinch hitter, this is the one that you gave me. So Whistlepig Rye. So I need to mark these when they come in with who gave them to me, because I always kind of miss that. The Whistlepig demands carnitas. Oh, that'd be good. Oh, I'd like that. I had Alfredo for dinner, so carnitas is about the exact opposite of Alfredo. Hey, Zopher. All right, so this smells pretty good, actually. It's been a very long time since I've had anything Whistlepig. I remember I did a review. It's funny, like back in the day, I built the channel by doing a lot of reviews, but there were some of my early reviews that have some just blatant errors. Like I don't recall, but I'm pretty sure that I completely missed that Whistlepig was sourced from Alberta. At least at first. I might have added it before I filmed, but I'm pretty sure that I didn't know that for a little while. People are saying that Whistlepig's overpriced, and you're completely correct. Whistlepig in general is overpriced. Unfortunately, I've heard bad things about their farm stock. I haven't had it, mostly because I keep hearing bad things. It's very difficult. It's difficult to buy things when I'm hearing bad things about it, because I'm worried that I'm going to be a bit biased when I'm doing my review. So, what is Donner Pass saying up there? I don't know. Whatever. All right, so. All right, the nose is kind of meh on this. It smells like a rye, but it smells like a pretty sweet rye, which actually is promising. Doesn't smell like 50%, which is actually okay. I'm gonna go with, so spicy, sweet. Maybe a little nutty, slightly malty, obviously none, but just malt can kind of represent itself in some different ways. Not sulfury, maybe a little woody, and maybe a little bit of like cereal notes. All right, let's go ahead and have a taste. Cheers. Meh. Actually, no, the finish on that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, this is good. Like, Whistlepig does have a name for itself, and probably for a good reason, but it's hard to find ryes that are really good, too. So I think it's probably easy to stand out in the rye market. And Whistlepig, I mean, they've got the gimmicks going on, too, so they're going to get noticed. It kind of makes some sense. No one needs David Ortiz's socks added to the barrel. Oof. That's right. He did a thing where he, like, was it like a bat or bats that he used or something like that? What did he do? I forget. Maplewood bats, that's what it was. But yeah, still didn't do much. Maybe it'll get, yeah, no, there's no way that's going to do anything. Like, first off, no. Second, like, what's it going to do? It's not you're talking unless he's putting like 10 bats in the barrel, in which case maybe you get something over like a couple of years, but I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's have another sip. So I missed it. Is anybody out there celebrating tonight? I had a particularly rough day at work yesterday. So, yeah, it was not a great one, but today was fine. No real issues. And tomorrow is what we've dubbed No Meeting Fridays, because my work in its infinite wisdom, and I shouldn't have said that because that sounds sarcastic. It's actually a fantastic idea. We don't do any meetings on Fridays, or at least every other Friday. But we got an email today that said that they're going to be doing that all summer long. We're not going to have any meetings on Fridays, which is just wonderful. So let me tell you guys about a little interesting information that I got earlier today, and then I'll tell you about that other opportunity that I was mentioning a minute ago. So let's see, not Woodford Reserve. What is this? Glendronach. So Glendronach, let me actually grab this. I wonder if I could just drag this right into here. Let's see. Nope. Oh, let's see. Maybe this works. Yeah, there we go. All right. So this is the Glendronach cask strength batch 10. So this is coming out very soon. And I actually I requested a sample of this. I'm kind of excited to get it. We'll see if I haven't heard back yet, but I would like to start doing some more limited edition stuff. It's interesting. I always have a bit of an argument in my head whenever I have the opportunity to have something that's really good and not super popular. The video is going to tank. I already know that. But I get to drink really good whiskey. So I don't know. It's occasionally I kind of decide in the moment which one's more interesting to myself. This one I'm a little bit excited about, so hopefully I get this. So this is going to be 58.6% ABV. It's going to be $100. It says expertly crafted by master blender Rachel Barry from a marriage of Pedro Jimenez and Oloroso sherry casks. So they're speaking my language there. I do love a good sherried Scotch. So we'll see. John, nice. Awesome. Good luck. All right, I'm going to put this one to the side because although it's fine, I feel like drinking too much rye is going to potentially burn my palate. So let's have some water. And then let's get rid of this Whistlepig. So this week's live stream was supposed to be something different, and I'll talk about that in just a sec, but I feel like I should pick another whiskey first. So let's go ahead and do this. Don't forget about the poll up at the top, because I do think that'd be kind of fun to see at the end of the thing. So let's see. Pick samples. I wrote it myself. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and pick. I wrote myself little notes about things to make sure I did. And apparently picking samples is something I felt that I needed to write down because, you know, on the Wheel of Doom, I might forget to actually pick a sample. So I don't know what I was thinking. Hey, Top Shelf. All right. So this one is the, let's go up here. Hard to read. Cool. Compass Box Orchard House. It's probably good that I stopped drinking that rye. Otherwise, that could have been burning a little bit too much. All right, let's go ahead. I'm gonna use my nice whiskey dick glass. All right, Compass Box. Let's go ahead and pour this guy all the way out. So I haven't had enough Compass Box whiskeys to know, they must do like sherried finish things or some, like, do they do any finishing? This is completely a point of ignorance. I can't know everything about every whiskey. But as far as Compass Box goes, like, I feel like every Compass Box I pour is exactly this color. So it is a matte bottle. All right. So not much on the nose yet, but I'm going to let that breathe for just a minute. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's funny. I felt like silly even asking, but I really don't think that they do either. And you know, I was waiting for somebody to just be like, "Oh yeah, the spice tree," you know, like one of the really popular ones, but I'm not sure. I imagine that they have, but I don't know if any of their mainline releases do. Cuz they're blending, right? They're not really doing their own thing. So I don't know. The nose on this one is not doing much for me. It's let me try something. So you know how they say if you smell your own skin, you can kind of like reset your nose or whatever. So I'm going to try that. It might be placebo effect, but it seemed to have made a difference. I mean, it's definitely fruity, for sure. Hey, awesome. Let's go right to this for a minute. So, Maurizio, sorry. What's the best Scotch for a bourbon lover? I love a high proof, but don't like the smoke from some Scotches. I like Oban 14. Need a new bottle now. Ooh, all right, cool. So I've got several answers for you, but at first I'm going to take a sip. All right, cheers, everybody. Also, Maurizio, I'm not sure if you noticed, you're going to be entered to win the bottle of 3 Chord here as well. So, okay. So first off, everybody in the chat, feel free to answer as well, because it's just fun to get the slew of answers. But one of the things I often suggest, and it's hard to find, but you're going to be surprised. Speyburn does a thing called the Companion Cask. And in my mind, it is one of the best Scotches to transition from bourbon into Scotch. There's like 100 different answers I can give you, but that one always pops to the forefront of my mind because I just think it's so... Like, the whole point is that it ages in, like, first fill bourbon barrels. It really does take on a lot of characteristic of bourbon, but then gives it a little bit more smoothness, a little bit more, depending on what they're doing at the time. I like it. I think it's a good answer for this. But you said that you like Oban 14, which is a personal favorite of mine as well, or at least was when I first started drinking. I still like it, but... Weird. Hold on. I feel like this whiskey just picked itself. All right, I'll put that one to the side. We'll drink that one next. That was weird. All right, so anyway, let's think of what else we could do here. Highland Park occurred to me as well, Jonathan. I was thinking that, but I've been hesitant to suggest Highland Park to too many people lately, just because I feel like they're slipping a bit. At least that's my opinion. I haven't tried their new 15, which may or may not be better, but we'll see. So let's see. What else would be a wonderful Scotch for a bourbon drinker? So I'm thinking along the lines of, like, what is a Scotch that doesn't necessarily taste like too much of, like, a, you know, peated or really any hint of peat whatsoever. Something with a little bit of ABV to it, so it has the same kind of body that a bourbon tends to have, and something potentially filled in a bourbon barrel. I mean, pretty much all of them. Damn, Jack Daniels is making too many barrels. I'm liking the, yeah, it sounded like hitting a golf ball. I am liking the taste of this Orchard House, by the way. I'm just kind of thinking now, and I feel like I'm gonna look at my stuff here. All right, so hopefully you guys can still hear me okay. You know, nah. I was thinking Dalmore, actually, just because I looked at it. Let's see, what else? How about some Johnny Walker Red? No. God, no. Oh, you know what? Actually, yeah. All right, how about this one? So I'm picking this one for a different reason. I love the Glen Grant, especially the 12. I think this is just such an approachable Scotch, so I'm kind of going that direction rather than tasting like a bourbon in a Scotch barrel, or a Scotch bottle. I think Glen Grant 12 is such an approachable Scotch. This would be a fun one to try. I might get back to your question in a little bit, but I think Alexander's kind of with me. Like, the Dalmore 12 did strike me as an option, but I haven't tried it in a while, and I know people kind of frown on Dalmore. I don't really know why. Like, really, I don't get the hate there. But anyway. Yeah, I mean, I do get the hate, and Alexander kind of puts it properly. Like, they color it, they chill filter it, they do all the things that they're allowed to do, but I also think people potentially get a little too hung up on that stuff. The coloring, I'm kind of on the camp of, like, why the hell are you doing that? The chill filtering, although I do tend to appreciate when it is not chill filtered, I also think if it wasn't on the label, I think it would be very hard for anybody to tell. Anyway, okay, let's see. Abalor Abunda, Abuna, yeah. That's a good one, but I don't know. I think I have that somewhere. Yeah, right there. I don't know that I would call that a good one for a bourbon drinker, but I'm not sure. Hold on. In case anybody is new here, this is basically just I hang out and chat with you guys. So by all means, put your questions in the chat. let's just talk about anything you want. Hold on. You got me wondering now. I don't know. I kind of maybe see where you're going with that, but I don't know that I would pick that one for a bourbon drinker specifically if what they're trying to do is drink bourbon in a Scotch bottle. But I don't know. Let's see what else. I don't want it to taste like bourbon. Oh, okay. All right. Go with the Glengrant 12. Just try that and let me know what you think. Or if you like Oban 14, go with maybe a Talisker Storm or a Talisker 10. Try like a Talisker 10. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. If you liked Oban 14, go with Talisker 10. And let's see what you think. It's going to have a lot of the same maritime notes. But is Talisker 10... I love that I just have this library of whiskeys. Like, oh, I'm thinking of a whiskey. Let me just grab it. Only distillery on Isle of Skye. Yeah. I get this. I'm trying to remember whether this is or tastes smoky at all. All right, so Steve, actually, let's see. First number I see on here. 47. How about number 8? Let's see. That one might be a little smoky, actually. People are saying Macallan, which is not a bad choice, but kind of sometimes is. I would probably skip the Macallan personally, but everybody's got to try it at some point too. I only just started streaming again, Dribs and Drams. I haven't been streaming for, I think I did one like last November, and then I did one earlier this year when I was talking with Nick Taylor about his Found North whiskeys, which are fantastic, by the way. So it's been a little while, but Blue Note Uncut Bourbon. Nice. I don't really know that one. Alfredo. Awesome. So, first off, if your wife got it for you for a birthday present, you love that bottle. That's how it works. But I will tell you, I think Angel's Envy is fantastic. It's been getting, like, I just hate the way things work. Like, people love a bottle, and then, like, a little while later, there's all the contrarians that are like, no, this is garbage. And I'm just like, hey, Angel's Envy is not garbage, right? It's good. I mean, it's port finished, so it's going to taste pretty tasty. I like it. I have a little bit of a sentimentality to it. It was a bottle that was given to me at my bachelor party, and it was one of the first real like nice bourbons that I had. But whenever I go back to it, I'm just like, this is tasty. This is pretty good. It's expensive, and I don't love that it's expensive because I feel like a lot of that is probably paying for the bottle shape. But I've never been disappointed when I tried it. All right, there's a good 50-50 blend with Woodford Reserve Double Oak. For the rare breed, it will be bitter it up some. All right, so that's actually a perfect segue. So the thing that was supposed to be tonight's live stream, but I'm a little slow and a little lazy, and I just didn't get through it. So I need to catalog my entire backlog of whiskey here. I'm going to get rid of this compass box, just even though I'm still drinking it, just to kind of show you. So I need to catalog all of my whiskeys. And what I'm going to do, probably next week at this point, is I'll tell you in just a sec, Matt. I'm going to try a thing. I'm calling it Blend My Bar. And the idea is you can pick up to 3 whiskeys in any combination of ratios. Basically, call it like 1 part to 2 parts or something like that, because I'll sit here and I'll actually do it. And the idea is I'm going to get three contestants to submit every time. Everybody can submit, but I'm going to pick 3 of them at a time. And I'm going to taste them side by side, and whoever has the best one wins some sort of prize. And I'll figure out what that is, basically between now and next week. It'll be something like, Whiskey Dick glasses, or maybe a Glencairn Anorak's glass and a couple of things. Like, it'll be something fun. But the idea is to tell me what you think would make a fun blend, and then I'll have it and see if it does better compared to the other 2. I think it's a really fun idea and a unique take on... a lot of whiskey tubers do blends, and I think those streams are fun to watch. And so I think this is kind of a unique take on that. So, Whiskey Crusaders. So I have had Weller Full Proof K&L Pick, which was from Clifton. So it's a local store near him. I had Whistlepig Rye 10-year-old. I've had the Compass Box Orchard House. That's what I'm finishing right now. I tried a little bit of the Aberlour Abuna, and that was mostly just a taste. And I'm going to pick something else in just a moment here. All right, let me finish the Abuna too. One thing that sucked is last week when I brought everything up to sit around the TV and continue to drink like I mentioned I did, I completely mixed everything up. I had no idea what I was drinking, but the one that stood out was that that pick from Jason. That one, there was no question. All right, so this one, don't forget the bottle that volunteered. Yes, I was just picking it up. So this one just fell off of the Wheel of Doom. It was trying to escape its doomy destiny. So this one, let's do this. There you are. Let me just make sure that, yep, all right. This one is the Belfour, and I'll take this one off because I forgot to remove the background on this one. Oh, you know what? I don't have to hold Alt and do that. Yeah. Oh. I know how to technology. All right. Cool. So this is the Belfour small batch bourbon, 50.25%. This one I know nothing about. So actually, let me tell you something about this, because I bothered to take notes. The ladies at the Grail channel, I don't know that one, just posted a review of the ECBP C917 sample. I left them check out what two Scots women think of cask strength bourbon. That's a heck of a plug. I like that. Ladies at the Grail. Donner Pass, if you want to, go ahead and link their channel, just because I don't know it, and I'll check it out later tonight. Let's see. Wheel of Doom options. We've got Belfour small batch bourbon. Let's throw this up here. Full browser web. Nope. Yeah, I want browser webcam, and I want window capture to be on this one right here. All right, my birthday is May 12th, 1983. All right. Oh, that's not promising. There's nothing on here. What is going on? Boo, Belfour. Maybe if I click, no. Is this like a media page? No. Terrible website. Terrible. This hurts. All right, there we go. Oh, that's a way better picture. Oh well, I should have grabbed that. All right, let's grab their channel here. Cool. So 50.25% ABV. Belfour's first small batch is offered price. Don't care. True. Don't care. Marketing. Staying true to the Belfour commitment to unique flavors. Weeded bourbon. Okay. Finally, something useful. Weeded bourbon comes alive with beautiful aromas like wildflower honey. Love it. Creamy, sweet flavors lead to a finish that is complex and evolving. You will likely enjoy notes of honey graham cracker, candied orange peel, and sweet pipe tobacco. Allow this small batch to surprise your senses with each sip. Oh man, I can't wait to taste wildflowers and let my senses be surprised. Let's see. All right. Way better than the pecan version. I mean, honestly, Matt, this sounds like it's going to be really good. I just was playing into it a little bit. Not much on the nose, though, I will say. But it's a weeded bourbon, and they tend to be, at least in my experience, very weak when it comes to nosing. All right. Cheers. That has a good body for a weed. Yeah, actually, that's pretty tasty. That's it's almost there though. So let me see if I can describe what I don't love about this. So first off, yes, 50.25%. This is like kind of almost perfect, but it falls just a tad bit flat in the finish. So when you first taste it, it's like, hello, I am a weeded bourbon who has 50% ABV. and then mid palate, you're kind of middle of your tongue, hitting the back of your tongue. It's like, okay, kind of running out of flavors, but I'm a wheated bourbon. This is what I do. And then it just disappears. I don't even feel it go down my throat. It's got zero finish whatsoever. Oh my gosh. Dribs and Drams marketing drives me nuts. Doing this channel has given me an interesting, or not even interesting, it's given me a very specific experience with marketing and just how much BS it all is. Anyway, so okay. I mean, it's a cool looking bottle. I'll give it that. It's like an okay. It's okay. I think if I were going to give this a rating though, like I'm curious what the price on this is. Let's see. Oh, I almost knocked that over. That would have been terrible. Belfour Spirits Wheated Bourbon. All right, let's see. Price. Let's go over here so you don't have to just watch me type. There we go. Cool. All right. Belfour, blah, 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 price. This appears to be about $70, maybe, roughly. Nah. It's fine. Like, it really is. It's totally fine. Where am I? There I am. It's just, $70 is a tough sell on this. But for a wheated bourbon, it's up there. But wheated bourbons, I always think I'm going to like them more than I actually do. I don't know. It's something about, I don't know how you guys are. And I'd be curious to know, like, are you guys into extremely bold flavors, or do you tend to like nuanced flavors, or are you both? I would say I'm both, but I would say I definitely lean more heavily towards bold flavors. Like if I have coffee, right? Like I'm drinking it black, and I'm trying to find flavor in that. If I'm drinking a whiskey, I like it to be high ABV. I like it to be bold and like taste like what it's supposed to taste like. But if I am doing a review, I usually water it down and I try to pick out nuances too. So I can do that. But just if I'm drinking to relax, like I like to taste it and be like, wow, that's awesome. Yeah, so I guess you're right. Maybe it depends on what mood you're in. But for me, I'm almost always in the mood of give me something that tastes bold. But that's me. Let's see. Is Jack Daniel's Triple Mash worth picking up? I'm a JD fan, but notice it's in a 700 ml. I would say yes. I like the Triple Mash. I don't love the bonded. I haven't given either one too much of a chance. But I had them both side by side, and the Triple Mash was, in my opinion, leaps and bounds better. You only paid $55, but yeah, it's not bad. It's in the best of the Belfour lineup besides the Stanley Cup version. Okay. Oh, it's the best of the Belfour. Okay. I mean, I hate when... I know you don't care, Matt, but I hate when I'm like, oh, this one that Matt gave me, but it is. It's like a 6.5 out of 10. It's totally fine. So... anyway, that's my opinion. All right, I'm going to put this one to the side, and I'll drink that a little bit later because I'd like to get into another one, especially it's 9:52. I don't care too much about the time, but let me just remind you guys, I have a bottle of 3 Chord here. This is a single barrel pick that I did. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this. So it's 60% corn, 36% rye, 4% malted barley. It's 4.5 years aged, and it is 58.28%. Or 116.56 proof. So really good. I love it. I've now gone through a couple of bottles of this. And actually, let me show you guys this. You've seen this before, kind of. But let's do full webcam. And let's see. So there is the 3 Chord head, barrel head that I did. And I built the little shelf. And I put the bottle up there. And I walk by it every day. And I feel proud of it. And that's bottle number 1 that you're seeing. Anyway, so I just think that's a cool thing. So anybody who does a $5 super chat will get entered to win this bottle. So, all right, what are we picking next? Let's go back to the Wheel of Doom. I swear, maybe I just need to get rarer stuff because, like, Jason announces this and he makes like $1 million on a stream. So, I don't know. Is that for you guys that actually do that on other streams? Because I'd like to get into that whole concept as well. I'd like to find stuff and give it away and do bottle giveaways on the channel. Like, is it that he has rare stuff, or is it just that he has like 300 or 400 people on his stream every week and they're just used to it? Is there a better way for me to be making these announcements? I don't like bringing it up every 5 minutes either. Let me pick a bottle. I'm going to pick from the outside edge. Let's go with this one. All right. Good choice on the Port Charlotte. I love Port Charlotte. Better stuff might be like $40. Okay. All right. Let's see what I picked. That's really funny. Port Charlotte. This is the one that I've actually very excited to try because I saw this. Yeah, I mean, 300 or 400 people is pretty helpful, and its consistency and total content on those streams is pretty high up there. That makes sense. Yeah, the Wheel of Doom are fun because I'm just like chatting, but the other styles of releases live streams I'm going to have are going to be much more of a directed concept. All right, so Steve, let's go with actually number 20. Yes, OLC 01 is pretty freaking god tier. I'm very excited for this one. I'm going to pour the whole thing because I will be drinking this 100%. And probably a good one to end the night on because I'm sure this is quite smoky. Would I ever do a collab with Redbeard? I don't know who that is. Probably. Oh, it smells good. It smells like Port Charlotte. All right, so let's see what the deal is with Port Charlotte, this one specifically. Let's go to OLC, go browser, boom. All right, so we've got the Port Charlotte OLC 01 2010. Part of the exploration series, our Port Charlotte blah 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 is one of the most unusual expressions we have ever released. Its rarity is twofold. Few single malts ordinarily start their journey in such a complex combination of casks. Blah, blah, blah. Genuine Oloroso sherry hogsheads from a fine Spanish bodega like Fernando de Castilla. Distilled back in 2010. Heavily peated single malt was first filled into an array of ex-bourbon, ex-Syria, and ex-VDN. Vin du Natural. That's cool. In 2018, the spirit was transferred into a parcel of Oloroso Hoggies, yeah, because hogsheads, that arrived at our distillery on the personal recommendation from bodega owner. Okay, so a whole bunch of stuff. This should be good. High Res Boo Rye, nice. High West Boo Rye. All right, it smells like a Port Charlotte 10, with like a little bit more sweetness to it. So we'll see. Cheers. Oh, that's good. God damn, do I love Port Charlotte. Man. It's just what a great one to end on. Man, that's so good, even in the finish. What is the ABV on this? Thank you, Matt. 55.11%, I think. Wow, that's really good. Oh, that's so good. Let me go back over here. So the main word that's coming to my mind is depth. This is where I could probably improve a little bit. So when I think about describing this, so first off, for anybody who doesn't know, like Port Charlotte is very smoky. It's not the smokiest thing. You go with the Octomore, but this is heavily peated. So when you taste this, you are tasting a heavily smoked whiskey. But when you're doing thank you very much, Dallas. I appreciate that. Closest to that amount. Auto sets at $4.99 or $9.99. It's closest to that amount. Thanks for the good time tonight. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So when you're drinking Port Charlotte, you're gonna taste smoke, but you're gonna taste it's kind of like a cigar ash type of smoke. But when you're drinking this one, as opposed to the 10, as opposed to the 10, where that one Jeez, I'm sorry, I have like the hiccups or something. When you drink the 10, you're getting smoke, and that's kind of it, but it's a very beautiful smoke. Like, it tastes delicious, the 10. But this one has a depth in it that just, it exudes kind of like this sugary sweetness, very delicate. The whole thing is perfectly balanced. Even the cigar ash that you're tasting doesn't last to the point where it's overbearing. It's like, it's there, it's amazing, and then it continues down to that sweetness. So it's almost like, hey, I'm really, really good, and now I just kind of relax. I don't know. It's just so good. USA only, unfortunately, whiskey business. I'm sorry. Shipping alcohol across countries is not a thing I really want to do. Sorry. Also part of my issue. So I kind of mentioned this earlier, but when I did the 3-chord pick, the guy that I worked with to do this, like he owns a liquor store and he has a lot of connections. He was like, hey, I can ship. I was like, cool, that's awesome. That'll work out really well. So we did the whole thing. I picked the barrel. I got like 110 bottles. And then he was like, I could ship to 4 states, Florida, Alaska, DC, and somewhere else. Like Massachusetts and Maine, I think. And I'm like, that doesn't help me at all. Holy crap. So I've been having to ship them myself, which is not wonderful, but it's part of the reason I'm like, they're delicious, but I want to do more. And so I've been trying to sell them. So anyway, yeah, I know, the great state of DC. Like, what are you talking about, buddy? Anyway. All right. Let me go ahead and pick a winner. So I'm going to give you guys like one more minute. If anybody really wants to get in, I think there's only like 5 or 6 entries at the moment. So you have a really good shot at winning if you'd like to. Then $5 will get you an entry. So let me answer Alfredo's question here. So he says, you probably have a video on this, but how do you smoke a whiskey? So I actually don't have an answer on this, but it's a fairly simple process. So when you have your grains, so if you know anything about whiskey making, I'm going to try to just kind of skim over some of this, but you get your grains, you have to germinate them slightly so that they start producing sugars from the carbohydrates within the grain itself. And then you need to stop that germination quickly. And most of the times people will do this by drying them out using a kiln of sorts. When you add smoke to a whiskey, you are using peat moss to create that smoke and to dry out that whiskey quickly. But the grain itself ends up taking on characteristics from that peat. And that's what adds the peat smoke to that whiskey. And that does persist through the distillate. And then you end up getting it within your new make, and it mellows out a bit over time within the wooden barrel. So that's the short answer. So people are talking about how I ship the whiskey with a box of mac and cheese. I do that so that it doesn't sound like a bottle of whiskey. All right, so we've gotten as many people as we are going to be getting for the giveaway. So let's go ahead and pick. So let's see, Pinch Hitter Whiskey Lounge. How many people do I have in the giveaway? And then I will pick a number at random. Kevin Peterson, I'm very proud of you. All right, so there's 7 entries. Excellent. All right, so we are going to pick... You know what? Actually, you know what I have? So I've told you guys a dozen times that I have a secondary channel where I play Dungeons & Dragons with Clifton from Bourbon Bites. I play it with Jason from the Mash and Drum, Ed from the Rock Gut Review, and my friend Molly. So we have 7 people. So I'm going to roll a D8, which is an 8-sided dice. And if it lands on an 8, I'll just re-roll. Oh, you've ran... that's fine. I'm gonna so he's randomized it 5 times. So I'm gonna roll a D8. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Before I do that, let's do it this way because it's a little bit more fun. Let's go full webcam. All right. We are going to right about here. All right, I'm not going to touch it. The channel is called Dungeons and Drams. You can find a link to it on my channel. So the number is 3. So pinch hitter, let me know who number 3 is. And they have won themselves a bottle of whiskey. Yeah, it's a super fun game. Honestly, I'm enjoying the heck out of it. All right, so who won? Oh, thanks, Pinch Hitter. Pinch Hitter, you are awesome. I don't even know when I added you as a mod, but I'm super happy I did. Steve A won. Of course, Steve A won. You know what? I'm happy Steve A won. He is an awesome contributor and everything to all of everything that People Whiskey does. So, Steve, I will be sending you a new bottle of 3 Chord, and maybe I'll throw a little something extra in there. Actually, how do you feel about? Well, you know what? I'll throw something a little special in there. All right. So, I think that does it for me tonight. Thank you guys all for joining me here tonight. Make sure you look on my community tab, and maybe I'll even do like a kind of a quick little video about the Blend My Bar, and I'll be doing that next week. No excuses. It'll be super fun, and people will win some prizes. So, I didn't get to my special little thing that I was going to tell you guys about, but I think I'll save that for another time. All right. Again, thank you everybody for joining me here on the Whiskey Dictionary, and I hope you have a great rest of your night. I'm going to go enjoy the hell out of this Port Charlotte and really like everything I opened. So, awesome. Have a great rest of your night. Cheers.